Stockwell Eldridge Show, giving you the real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Don Eldridge.
Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Don Eldridge with Remax Results.
Another great show for you with the Stockwell Eldridge Show every Sunday at 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. And we have three gentlemen in here, which are all experts in their field: an attorney, a mortgage loan officer, and also a home inspector. All of them highly qualified in their field, probably the top tier in their field. And we're honored to have them. We're going to have a great show and tons of stuff to talk about for you. Talking about the current market, the current sentiment of buyers, what's going on with agents, with some stuff that is all the picture you're seeing or hearing from the media and from everybody, and a lot of agents is, oh, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great. There's all kinds of things that are showing that it's not as great as it seems overall. It's not saying it's bad. I'm not a doomsdayer, but I'm just saying there's some issues that we are dealing with, and we'll share some of those with you today. So if you are thinking of selling, if you're thinking of buying, if you know someone that is, or you have a loved one that is, have them call us, because there's a lot of things going on right now that we will probably have some insight on for you. You can call us at 651-400-0773, 651-400-0773. And we'll start right off with the market update with Dawn. What's happening in the statistics, the numbers. This is just the numbers, not the actual emotional concept of the real estate market. This is just the numbers.
That's right. That's a whole different topic. Well, we've actually had a change. So since May, actually since June, we are now up only 0.5% in new listings, whereas before it was 1.1%.
Yep.
And then also we've had a change in closed sales, up 0.2%, and then a change in median sale price is down a little bit from last month. It was 5.7, now it's 5.3% from this time last year. So this time last year there were 7,081 closed sales, and this time this year there's 7,094 closed sales.
A little bit less. Well,
Yep.
here's so, and also here in when you get into the hot months of July and the middle of summer, it's naturally we have sellers that are calling us saying, "Hey, what's going on? We're not getting a lot of showings." That's happening where the showings are down. People are busy. They're going out for the weekends. They're trying to get to the lake when they can. They're doing all the things, and housing isn't quite at the top of their mind right in the middle of the heat wave of summer, because there's so many activities for young people, for old people, for kids. It's our time, if you will, right? The summer.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is a lot of the reason for a little bit of the lackluster activity. I've told you guys before the show, I had in the last 2 weeks, I've had 5 houses for sale, and where an agent would call or email in the afternoon or evening saying that they will be submitting an offer on the home. So they're checking to see if there's currently any offers, number one, and they're alerting me that they will be submitting an offer that evening or the next day. 5 in 2 weeks. 0 of the 5 actually wrote an offer. So my question to our expert panelists here, Thomas Jusela here with Finance of America, and Don Doty probably, and Nate Nelson, my bad. I'm sorry, Nate. I was going to say Nathan, you got me. Nate Nelson with Messerly and Kramer is why? What's going on? They told me the reason was, the buyer changed their mind due to the roof. The dad came in or the parent came in and said, and 3 of the 5 gave me excuses. The other 2 didn't even respond when I called and asked them what was going on.
Jason, that's why the statute of frauds requires sales of real estate to be in writing.
Maybe the agents were optimistic and thinking that they were going to. Maybe they wanted the buyer to write the offer more than the buyer wanted to write the offer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to guess.
Maybe they showed the buyer 50 houses and they're frustrated.
And we were talking about this a little bit before the show, but I think also some of that's contributing to that is the amount of people that have gotten into this market because it is busy, and a lot of those agents don't have the experience, because I'm dealing with that a little bit on my end where I'm not getting calls back or certain things are needed, addendums signed, and I feel like I'm chasing down paperwork that I'm normally never chasing down. And
Yeah, that doesn't happen with me ever, does it?
No, never. It doesn't.
Well, and that's a
right.
good point. There's a lot of people that the market's great, so a lot of mortgage originators get into doing mortgages.
And
a
new-
lot of
new
new
agents.
agents coming in. We go on many listing appointments. So if you're thinking of selling, we'll be happy to evaluate your home and we can give an accurate assessment. But what we're seeing on that is a lot of agents are just slashing their commission just to get the listing because it's such a frenzy going after the listings. And that's another thing you got to factor in. I had a couple call me out of state this week and said, hey, they're going to switch agents. And then they talked to me about what the agent was listing it for. And I said, wow. I said, how? No wonder nothing's being done. No wonder literally nothing's being done for you on the sale, and it hasn't sold in 4 years. And that's why he's not doing anything for you. So anyway, and probably home inspectors down, right? People are getting into that now too. A lot of new ones.
Everybody's brother. Everyone's an expert. They all come from the big box stores. Their wives say, honey, you should just be a home inspector. You just need a clipboard and a pencil and maybe even a flashlight.
That is all you need, though, right?
There's a little more
technically,
and a ladder.
And a ladder,
yeah.
But
and insurance
and business cards.
And business cards, yeah.
Jason, I think you just hit it right on the head. Summer is our time. My industry's busiest during the school year. You see a lot of people still moving during the summer times, but the buying and selling, I don't know what's going on right now, too. It's hard to get, like Dawn, you said, forms signed and calls back.
Yeah, and it's overall still good, the market. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's a little bit of a slower down. Even with the rates, I'm surprised the buyers aren't just still firing them off, that they're out there, but maybe they're waiting for something better or something more. Maybe they feel like they're getting strapped with the prices going up, Dawn, that they've been going up.
Yeah, what's interesting is the average price per square foot is up 6%. So, which
that's
is
Twin
good
Cities
for sellers.
Metro wide,
Yep, Twin Cities Metro. But
average.
What I'm seeing is buyers are. I've run into a situation on one of my listings where the buyer actually, unbeknownst to me, had written on 2 other properties and walked away. And of course, the buyer walked away from this property, and the seller is retaining the earnest money, which legally they can do. They could also sue them for specific performance, which the seller chose not to move forward in that regard. But I was blown away that happened. I mean, I've been a realtor 13 years, and I haven't seen this kind of thing happen where buyers just decide that they get gun shy and they walk away and they feel like maybe they could find a house that's better, which the market's so lean, it's going to be hard for them to do. Are you seeing that in the lending world where you're writing more than one?
First time in 15 years, I saw this about 3 weeks ago, and it was on a home out in Eden Prairie for about $800,000, and the buyers walked away from earnest money of $12,000. Loan was pretty much clear to close, and she just said, no, I don't feel comfortable buying it. I think the market's too high, because she had gotten burnt back in 06, 07. And I think she's kind of living in the past where, and that's her own personal decision that she's got to make, but I just don't see a crash like that coming. But she was so uncertain where everything is coming that she just said, I'm canceling. And I'm just like, you understand
and
that
you're walking away from that.
You're understanding that you're giving this money up, correct?
Are these buyers for investment, or are these buyers actually reside in the home?
Owner occupied.
And they walk away from $12,000. That's something.
$12,000. Yeah.
Wow.
I understand investors because they do it a lot. They do it less now because there's actually not a lot of things for them to get. So once an investor gets a property, they're less likely, in my opinion, to walk away, it seems like, at this point than before when there was a glutton of inventory.
Nowhere else to go.
Are you guys seeing a lot of investors out there right now?
Trying. They're trying. There's a lot of investors out there that are trying. And the problem is I don't see a lot of investors out there that are able to actually get the properties.
Because of the regulations.
At the numbers they would want or the prices they would want. So what'll happen is they'll write offers that are far low, and the sellers aren't just there are very few desperate sellers out there now too. So that's another thing. So it's harder and harder for investors.
Well, also with the foreclosure rules, aren't those changing where there's the owner occupant for a certain amount of days? They don't even look at investments.
Yes, that's what we're on. Yep. So that's tough on the foreclosures, but there's still investors buying.
What about you, Don? Are you seeing a lot of people that you're doing multiple inspections for?
The The thing that I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of the investors, and I do the majority of them in town here, they're not getting the deal because they want it cheaper. And everybody is a rehabber nowadays. So those so-called great deals are not there.
No, they don't exist in this market, I don't think. I haven't seen any.
But it's still, still owning a home is far better, as I've said before on the show, than the stock market.
Yes,
That's
that's
true.
an opinion of. There's no stockbroker here to contradict
To
or
defend.
defend that. But
It is.
I think they would probably agree with you right now.
the stock it's at a high, right? It's been at a high. It came back.
I
Right?
just had a meeting with a client who said he was a perma-bear, so he's waiting for it to fall. But
I heard on the radio show I listened to that they said a lot of people are shorting the market and they're just not being able to figure out why the market continues to rise, the stock market, when all indications are and all the data shows that it shouldn't be. So they're shorting it, but they keep losing because it doesn't go down. So it could be the housing thing like it was where people were shorting the housing market. If you ever watched the movie
The Big Short.
The Big Short.
Great show.
Yeah, if you watch that. And then we watched another one, and I think this plays into the real estate a lot, is that we watched Ivory Tower documentary on student loans. And the sheer burden that has and is just crushing so many people's ability to for sure buy a house, but
Without
probably
a doubt.
do all kinds of other things, I would imagine, right? I mean, that's probably what you see, Thomas, in the lending world.
Yeah, a lot of the guidelines as far as how student loan payments were treated prior to, I could use what's on a credit report, but recently within the last 30 days, that's not the case anymore. So a lot of the people that have the student loans, their payments are based on income, based payments. So as their income goes up, that payment goes up. That's how we used to consider those. Now I cannot even consider an income-based repayment plan. So minimal, I have to take 1% of the loan balance. So if you have, a student loan of $35,000, I have to use a minimal payment no matter what of $350. Also, prior to with some of the government guidelines, you could, not if you had student loans that were deferred, and I could prove that those were deferred for the next 2 years, I did not need to consider those. That's also not the fact anymore. So any of those debts have to be definitely considered, which I do understand because then people are buying houses and then all of a sudden they have all these student loan payments.
Kick in and it affects the
Yeah,
affordability. Yeah, it's a tough one, and this makes you think about the college debt dilemma and the debt dilemma overall. But we'll be back. Thomas Jusela, Nate Nelson, and Don Doty. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results.
Stay tuned.
Thanks.